Welcome back to CSM TV. We're back in the garage today and we are working on the Pony Express. Last video we went over the new cage we got put in. We kind of went over all the details and whatnot, got the cage painted, and now we need to get all the interior back in. Then we also need to address this little guy in the back here. Need to do something with that. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So before we get into some of the fun stuff, which fun stuff, in my opinion, is a parachute, I need to get this workbench cleaned up, and which means putting the interior back in the car, which actually needs to happen before we go over some of the other parts that I have that we're going to have to put in the car first. So let's go ahead and get started with that, and then we can get to the good stuff. Oh, let me squeeze on past you here. Smaller fingers. Ah, it hurts so good. Here's this gonna be fun. Before we get into too much of the passenger side, putting more of that stuff back in, I wanted to go over some things I found for hopefully the glove box, which I briefly talked about not worrying about mounting it right then because I didn't really want to weld to the cage for a glove box that may or may not end up in the car, but I found a easy solution, I believe. So we have these Axiom mounts, and they got a bunch of different things you can get. I actually had this their GoPro mount in the car for a little while. My buddy Matt turned me on to these guys, and it's been really good. It's a just roll bar mount, and the good thing about these are if you change roll bar sizes, like I did, I went from mild steel to chromoly and it's a smaller tube. You only have to buy this replacement, just this little loop here. So that was nice. I get to keep my GoPro mount that's been in the car for a while. When I was looking on their website, I actually found these little guys. And this is just a roll bar mount and has a bolt, some threads in there. So hopefully we can make a mount out of that. And it's not sponsored ad or anything like that. And actually, threads kind of suck in these, so I might have to chase these, get a bolt to go in nicely. The threads are not great, we'll say. So we're going to try these and try two of them, try to mount our glove box into this to like a factory style location. So let's get into it, see if we can get something to work. Well, not exactly what I wanted. That dash is supposed to be a couple inches in from where it's at. And if you can take a look in here. So yeah, we got the mount here, and I was hoping it'd be close enough that I could just make some spacers, but it's actually tighter than I thought it was going to be. So no big deal. I think we can make remake these brackets here. These guys, I think I can remake those, and it shouldn't be too bad. That should be an easy, just bend up a few things and get it to work. So I guess I'll go do that. Brackets made. So this is the original bracket. I started bending this one to try to get it close. I mean, as you can see, it's a little bit. I had to try to make it shorter, and it started just getting way too far out of whack. So I'm like, okay, I'll just make one. So I got these aluminum ones. This one I've already test fit and fits perfect. So yeah, like just a little comparison to the stock one. Yeah, fits pretty nice. I just need to duplicate that on the other side, and hopefully we can get it spot on. We'll see what we can do here. Got the second one bent up pretty close to the next one, so we just need to drill some holes and, well, trim this up and clean it up and a bunch of other stuff, but we'll drill some holes and then we can test fit it. Both brackets are on. See if it fits. So I'll probably have to fiddle around with the brackets. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll see. Bring you guys back in, see how it fits. Hopefully we're good this time. There we go. That's how. Fucking light. That's how it's supposed to fit. And then the rest of the glove box, that all bolts into this piece. So we don't need to mock that up. It's already been in the car. Everything's cut for it. We should be good to go. So we can take that back out and then work on everything else that needs to go back in the car right there. So let's get to it. Alright, with that, get the interior pretty much back together. Still need to put the carpet in, but we got to mount up a few things before we can do that. The seats are in there so we can get some of those things mounted up. They got to be up there at least for mock-up. And yeah, we'll get into some of the fun stuff, some of the new stuff we got going on. First thing, got our shroud window net. We got to put that in, test fit that. And if you watched the last video, you saw I got a sheet with the custom measurements for getting a custom window net made for the car. So we need to mock that up, make sure I didn't mess that up somehow. It looks like it's going to be good. So I've already messed with it a little bit. I cheated. And one other thing is the parachute handle. Got this Motion Raceworks billet console mount parachute handle and cable. which we picked up from our buddy Daniel over at Generations Auto. We're working together a little bit. I've known Daniel for, man, I don't even know how long at this point. It's been forever, but he just started a new shop over in Kokomo, Indiana. He can get all sorts of parts. He can get, looks like, Motion Raceworks parts. He actually got me a set of tires as well. New set that we're trying. If you hadn't seen that on the Facebooks or the Instagrams that I posted, we can go over that another time. So we can get all sorts of parts. But yeah, go support him over Generations Auto. I'll put like a link in the description. Pretty sure he's got a website up. I know he's moving to a new place. So yeah, support him. He's expanding, which is awesome. Love to see him grow. So support local people. That's really what I need to get what I'm getting at. But let's go ahead, and we need to get to work. So let's get to it. There we go. Inside the bar or outside? I think outside would be better. Well, it fits. Neat. Okay, with the window net checked and that fitting up, that's how we thought it was going to be. Going to move on to the parachute handle, which I got full console set up for the Colt. It hasn't been in a long time because I haven't fit it for the for our 4G shifter. So I would like to get this handle in someplace. I don't think it's gonna work in the e-brake. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna have to mess with that shifter a little bit and try to get the console to fit in there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and mess around with that, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. All right, quick update. Got the handle mounted in there. The console's kind of mocked up. It's kind of a mess, but so got a bracket here. I'm gonna clean this up so it doesn't just look like a stupid piece of angle aluminum. Say iron, but it's not iron. Whatever. So I'm gonna clean this up, shape it up a little bit better. The big problem, I kind of opened a can of worms trying to fit the console in to fit the shifter, and we're gonna have to do some modifications, obviously. Oh, that's bolted down. So if you look, there's this big lip thing here that's holding the shifter up higher than I want. So get in here and try to cut it down. I think I can cut up this edge, get the shifter down just a little bit further, and hopefully it'll fit a little bit better with the console and the shifter in a better spot. So we'll try that. Okay, we got the shifter mounted. We got our piece, this nice heavy piece, nice little weight reduction that this is gone. Really wish I would have done the rest of that panel now at this point, but it's a little too late. Maybe we'll revisit that at another time. But the shifter is mounted for now. We need to move on to the console, but I need to trim this this bracket I made. I need to trim that up so the console actually fits, kind of hanging over. So we'll trim that and the parachute bracket, get that trimmed up, and get back to it. All right, so trim this piece up. We're just gonna make a couple straight-ish lines. That's not looking very straight. That's ew. So if I cut that crooked. Alright, so we're gonna start off just boxing out what we don't want. Oh, nice job painting my straight edge. We'll go with that, try to get this all cut out, see how it looks. All right, that's what we got. Looks a little better. Let's go stick it on the car. All right, brackets back in. Looks much better, all cut up and fancy looking. I don't know. So I got a mock-up console in here. This is from an old shifter setup, and I wanted to test fit it just because I don't need to cut it as much as well in different spots that one was. So I'm gonna try to maybe tape up some of the gaps here, like all in here and back here, where we don't need as much clearance, and see if we can not cut it up as much. So I want to keep as much console there as we can. So we'll see what we can come up with. This is what I came up with. Got a real rough idea on where we need to cut. So I'm going to try to cut as minimal as possible, but it might make it really hard to get the console in. So we're going to try with the bare minimum first and then do a bunch of test fits, I'm sure. But we'll go ahead, try to mark this up, trim it up, see how it turns out. All right, console's back in. Fits pretty decent for a shifter that's not supposed to be in the car. I want to trim it as minimal as possible, so getting it to go in, you have to actually put the shifter in with the console, so it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the ass later, but I did have to cut a little access hole for the bolts on the back of it, but got a little trim piece that's going to cover it, so shouldn't be a big deal. With that done, pull everything out. I need to get some paint on that metal, on that bare metal there, and then we can move on to getting the carpet and everything else back in the car finally. Alright, got a new harness. Mine was out of date, and I'm going to try something a little different. Something that was a little cheaper, so we're going to try this out compared to the Impacts, which I absolutely love. But yeah, we'll check these out, see how I like them. Can't forget these little guys. Alright, interior is all back in. The full center console in there, which took a little more time, a little more effort than I expected to do, but now that it's in, I really like it in there, and it didn't add that much weight. So it's all, small plastic stuff with about 3 screws in it. So it doesn't weigh anything. Looks a little better than just having just that big, gnarly 4th gen shifter just hanging out. So I would like to maybe paint that so it's not silver. Maybe paint it something so it matches the rest interior. Deal with that another time. Got the harnesses in. They're all adjusted. Even got a hook for the steering wheel. Maybe one for the helmet. See if I use those. Even got the glove box back in. So we got a spot for our gloves that I have never worn because they're never in the car. So maybe that they're in the car I'll actually wear them. And then bonus, I mean, you can't have a street car without cup holders, right? So the glove box is also got these nice cup holders. I'm sure, looks like they work pretty well. They're not really gonna go. I guess if you can't use those, we'll go with the center console one. Just pop that dude up. Look at that. Every street car needs cup holders, right? Yeah, sure. So I was hoping to get to some of the parachute stuff next, because we got to make a few modifications to this mount. I didn't know exactly what parachute I wanted when I sent the car off to Norm, and I really probably should have, because it would have saved some time and some effort. I've been dragging my feet a little bit, so we didn't get time to actually get into it, because we have a race in about a week. So we need to get the car ready and get it going. And yeah, don't have time for the parachute right now, which we did go with a spring launcher and a Stroud parachute, which we need to make a mount for. So it's not like an easy bolt-on affair like it probably should have been if I would have known what chute I was going to run. So no big deal. Don't need it for the class we're going to be in, because we are actually going to be still in the index class. I know if you follow me on social media, I did post up that we got some Mickey Thompson drag radials to hopefully step into a street class. So hopefully get in maybe the lower tier street classes and still be competitive and still go a little faster. But without being able to test, because the car's not done, and a little nervous about how it's going to go, because I never hear anything good about drag radials on an all-wheel drive car. And I haven't really seen any info of people running them. So a little nervous about trying to do that, especially with my finances at the moment. Breaking something like a T-case or even anything in the transmission, it's might take me out of some races. So instead of doing that, I think I'm going to go back to the index stuff. We're going to try to get the car leaving a little flatter than what it has been, to give us a good start on testing for the radio. So we might still get some testing in this year. Should be nice. We'll just see how it goes. We're going to play it by ear. One thing we did do before we sent the car off to Norm's is actually put the car on the scales. I was kind of curious to see what it weighed before and after the cage and putting everything back in. I was really hoping to get a little bit more weight reduction going on than what actually happened. So a little nervous that it's going to be heavier than I thought. But this is the weight actually before we sent it to Norm's. All right, quick video before I take the cage out of the car. And we're at 2,406 pounds. No fuel, no driver, obviously. Slicks, 6-point cage. Basically the way I ran it all year this year. So we'll see what happens once we cut the cage out and do a couple other things. And this is actually the weight after everything. So as the car sits right now with the new 10-point, all the other things that we changed in the car, get your guesses in before we throw this clip in there, and we'll see. It's a little surprising actually with the results. What are we guessing? Did you ever see it? Okay, well, a little math up. Well, fuck. It's only me. I mean, Spitz can. See. I wouldn't even know where to start. It was 2,400 before the cage, and we added some things.
24.
That'd be nice. Actually, I'd be cool with that. I think it's gonna be like 2450. I don't like that look. Did she gain a lot? Where are we at? What? Day 2403?
Plus one. Damn, wow.
He's the closest stop going over, Bob.
Oh shit. What the fuck? How does that happen?
No.
Yeah. Okay, I got a good one. Huh. Alright, so now we need to get some old fluids out of here, get some new fluids in, and try to get this thing started up. So let's get to it.